To start us off, I just got some amazing news. Today, 9 months to the day of her unjust detention, a federal judge ruled in favor of human rights activist Jeanette Vizquera, stating that her detention is unconstitutional and ordering an immediate bond hearing. So here's a link to the article. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to plan an office visit to your legislators, including what you can do differently based on whether they're Republicans or Democrats. If we have time, we'll follow that up with a sticker design party where we'll break out into smaller groups to design the next set of resistance stickers. But first, a couple of updates and upcoming events. Thank you to everyone who showed up to tell the Denver City Council to vote no on the lease with Key Lime Air. Most of you know Key Lime Air has a contract with ICE to fly deportation flights and is known to use abusive methods when deporting immigrants. On Monday, the Denver City Council voted a resounding no to leasing property to Key Lime Air at the Denver International Airport, with only one dissenter. But the fight doesn't end there. Unfortunately, not leasing them that property doesn't stop them from operating at the airport. So this Saturday, in cities around the country where Key Lime operates, there will be protests. Just in Colorado, there will be protests at the Denver International and Centennial airports, Pueblo, Alamosa, and Cortez. And there will also be protests in Jackson, Tennessee, and Minneapolis. And I'll put the image with the times and locations for those protests in the chat here. Yes, we got a couple of big wins this week. All right. And our holiday party was a huge success. We had a bunch of people there and we all had a great time celebrating our victories throughout the year and how much we've been able to accomplish. We sang holiday carols like It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Russia. And a version of Jingle Bells that is very anti-ice. I will send the links to those holiday carols in the email tomorrow as well, in case you guys want to sing with your family and, well, sing to your neighbors if you dare. Another thing that I wanted to mention is Colorado. Well, first of all, Monday night was the deadline to sign up for healthcare plans through the ACA for the coming year. And on average, premiums doubled due to the Republicans' big bill of bullshit they passed earlier this year. And for some families, their premiums quadrupled. So I wanted to make sure that those of you who are in Colorado are aware of the Medicaid buy-in program for working adults with disabilities. You don't have to go through the arduous process of qualifying for Social Security disability benefits to qualify for this program. I have a milder form of bipolar disorder, and I was able to qualify by filling out a couple of surveys and waiting to be approved for limited disability. You pay a very modest amount on a sliding scale based on your income, and you get full benefits, including dental coverage under Medicaid. I pay $25 a month. In many cases, Medicaid covers the full cost of office visits and procedures with very little out-of-pocket expense and no deductible. So it's been a lifesaver for me personally, and I wanted to make sure that each one of you is aware of that and can share that info for people who might qualify. So here is a link to more information on that program and a link where you can find out what type of things can qualify. Also, Starbucks is still unwilling to finalize the fair union contract, so thousands of Starbucks baristas from over 120 stores in 85 cities are still on strike. So no Starbucks, no gift cards. Here are the 3 links and ways that you can be a part of that rebellion. All right. And then this Saturday, Solidarity Warriors, Colorado 5051, Colorado Bridge Trolls, and other indivisible groups are having a goodwill to all protesters rally and food drives benefit community table. Costumes, Santa hats, and signs are welcome. So that's this Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be on the Grandview Bridge. It's an overpass protest. It's over Wadsworth. And I'll put the address and the time and date in the chat. And one last thing, here's a link to the Field Team 6 postcard campaign to register voters in important districts. If you'd like something you can do from home on your own time, you can click the link to get instructions on how you can write and mail postcards from home, encouraging voters to register. Okay, give me just a second. I have to put on a hoodie because my house got cold.
I can take over a little bit and talk about the things that I've normally been talking about. The thing that I want to give to everybody to go and do this week is go outside your comfort zone. I know there are a lot of people who are introverted and don't feel comfortable, for example, standing up in front of a Zoom full of people and talking, but push yourself just a little bit to go beyond what you normally would feel comfortable with doing, whether that is going out to a protest with a bunch of people. If you don't feel comfortable, necessarily being out in public on your own, wear an inflatable frog costume. Nobody's gonna know who you are or what you're doing. Um, and that's what I'm going to challenge people to do because there's a lot that's going to need to be done. A lot of it is going to involve being outside our comfort zone, and that is a learned skill. If you get started with it, once you get comfortable being in the space outside of your zone, it makes it much easier the next time you decide to go and do it. Go on, Tiffany.
Sure. I would give you an example of how to do that this coming week if you celebrate Christmas with your extended family. Maybe actually have a conversation with that uncle that you avoid because he voted for Trump and empathize on a human level. Find out, how he's feeling now. What does he care about? And see if you can connect on an emotional level instead of just throwing facts at him and see if, maybe you can let him know that there's a different way. Because we all know that the holiday dinner table is the appropriate place for
Okay.
politics. All right, let's go over some details of planning and executing an office visit with your legislators. We're going to skip the breakout rooms tonight for Dems versus Republicans because most of the tactics will be the same. We'll briefly touch on what you can do if your legislators are already visibly standing up to Trump. So while your legislators don't have to be in their home districts for an office visit, the most effective ones are. One reason is that you'll either get to meet with them or get press coverage about their refusal to meet with you. Here are the links to the 2025 and 2026 congressional calendars. When you see a week in gray, that means that neither the House nor the Senate is in session, and most legislators will be in their home states. Next, you'll need to find your representatives and senators and their office locations. The first step is to locate the nearest district office. Once you've identified them, you can click on their name and you'll see a link to their website. That's usually the fastest way to find your nearest office address. You'll want to confirm the office hours to make sure that staff are present. If the hours are not listed on the website, a quick phone call will suffice. And next, pick a strategic time. Plan your visit for a weekday when staff are working, typically Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, as most of you know. Consider coordinating with local media to cover your visit. If you'd like a copy of the press release database, shoot me an email and I will forward it to you. Morgan, can you type my email in the chat, please?
Absolutely.
And don't let a note on a website by appointment only cramp your style. If your congressional office is listed as being open only by appointment only, you can either call ahead and make one, or you can try just showing up. If you decide to just show up, be ready if the office is closed. Plan a creative action your group can take a video of or take a picture of the closed office and post it on social media. And then you'll need to gather and prepare your group. So you want to aim for 5 to 15 participants that could go into the office. The bigger the better, but showing up is what counts. Keep in mind it's possible that they'll only let a small group inside for the visit, but feel free to have a larger group wait outside. You want to assign clear roles to the people in your group. The spokesperson opens the meeting, states the demand. For example, stand up to Trump by doing X, Y, and Z. Storytellers share personal stories about how the issue affects them. The note taker documents what's said, including non-answers or dodging. The social media lead captures video, posts updates, and ensures visibility. The backup disruptor, if staff dismisses the group, they reinforce the message and demand action. They're like the bad cop in this situation. And you don't need to call in advance if you're going to a district office. You can call ahead if you have a relationship with the office, but there's no requirement to schedule a meeting. If staff tells you they can't accommodate a visit on short notice, show up anyway. This is urgent and we don't have time to wait. Next, you'll need to prepare your ask. Even Republicans are starting to crack and stand up to Trump, so demanding your legislators do this applies in both red and blue states. I want you to type in the chat some things you think your representatives and senators should be doing to show that they oppose Trump. For example, calling for the release of the full Epstein files with only the victims' information redacted. What other ideas do we have? Morgan, do you have any ideas?
First one that comes to mind to me is impeachment.
All right.
But that's just where my mind goes. Um,
Yeah. And what I'm thinking of in this situation are things that Democrats can do to show that they oppose Trump and that they're not going along with him while we don't have the power to do things like impeach him yet. Stop voting on all his nominees. Yes, vote yes on no war with Venezuela. That's a great one. Thank you, Blue Dream
hold,
Serene.
hold up the budget and actually follow through without caving.
Yeah, the next budget, which will be, I think, in January. We've got legally file exempt on W-4. Demand a release of video evidence for Venezuela boats. They need to take public stand against ICE and any new concentration camps in Colorado. Hell yeah, Michelle. Stop the shutdown of NCAR in Boulder, one of the world's top 4 centers for climate change. I agree. Voting on the 2 resolutions to limit military action. Supposed to vote today. Oh, I haven't heard on that either. We got another one for stop NCAR closure. SEC backed off investigation of Trump cryptocurrency partners and vote to extend health insurance subsidies. All right. Now, here is how to execute the visit. First, sign in at the front desk, be polite but firm. Demand a meeting with your member of Congress, representative, or your senator, or their state director. The state director is your next best bet if you can't reach your legislator. If they're unavailable, insist on a commitment to follow up with your group. If you're refused entry, hold a visibility event outside and post about their refusal on social media. Be sure to follow all state and local guidelines around gathering on public and private property, of course. Document everything and follow up. Take photos and videos, show the world if they refuse to engage. Post updates on social media and tag local reporters and news outlets. So you'll want to research who those accounts are ahead of time. Follow up with an email summarizing the visit and requesting an official response. For more details, I'm going to put a link in the chat to the Indivisible Guide to a Successful District Office Visit. And let's see here. There you go. The tone of your office visit will be based on your legislators' voting record and how outspoken they've been against the Trump administration, or whether they are in support of or against the issue that your group brings to them. Our main goal for visiting our representatives and senators is to push them to fight. So some ideas for where we would want them to fight. We want to strengthen the resolve of Democrats who are fighting back. Let them know they have our support. Push and publicly call out Democrats and Republicans who aren't visibly taking a stand against Trump. Secure public commitments to take specific actions. Make it clear that when they fight, we have their backs, but if they hide, we'll hold them accountable. All right. I want you to type in the chat some creative things you can do during an office visit if your legislators aren't doing enough to stand up to Trump. Passion, the donkeys have Don that gave Don the keys. Yep, got it. You could dress up as donkeys outside the office with a sign that says that. What other ideas do we have? What would be a good visibility event outside if they refuse to meet with you? Morgan, any ideas on that one?
Yeah, I just put it in the town hall. I had a congressperson who refused to have a town hall. So we had a bunch of people show up with a nice big invitation for her, and they wouldn't let us in. So, that's a good thing that you can do at, one of these meetings. It got to the point that they wouldn't let the male person in.
I think that's great. Great idea if you're in Gabe Evans' district. I don't know
Mhm.
how long it's been since that man's held a town hall. Steven said noisemakers. Yeah, pick up a cheap megaphone and bring some pots and pans. We picked up a bunch of 5-gallon buckets and ordered some drumsticks that unfortunately were from Amazon, but they were super cheap. So you can also, yes, Michelle, there is a weekly protest outside Gabe Evans' office in North Bend. One person has a megaphone and uses it liberally. That's great. Ukuleles and stupid songs. We did Rich said we did a die-in and went in the street at Fetterman's office in September because he was supporting genocide. Ask why justice has been desecrated. Oh, an event. Got it, Rich. Broadcast their own words over a megaphone. Oh, that's brilliant, Sean. I really like that. Very slowly. There you go. You guys have some great ideas. Anything else? Jeanette said, bring specifically Christian and other spirituality centered groups, Buddhists, Sikhs, Jewish, Muslim, and indigenous, pagan, and challenge the narrative of only conservative religious people are being censored and not heard. I like it. We had Gabe Evans cutouts in Greeley. Awesome. That's a great idea for a town hall. Hold an empty chair town hall, like Morgan was saying, bring them the invitation. And if they don't show up, you put either a cutout or a fake chicken, or someone once used a live chicken in the seat of the representative. Portland style bicycle rides in the parking lot. Good one,
Can you
Stephen.
imagine what a conservative congressperson would do with a naked bike ride going through their parking lot? They would lose their mind.
Someone asked, is it legal to hold a protest on the sidewalk in front of your senator or rep's home? Yes, sidewalks are public space. You can do that.
It is important to note that you need to keep moving, just like at a strike picket line. If you stand in the same place for too long, depending on your local ordinances, they can arrest you for vagrancy. But as long as you are moving up and down the sidewalk, then you're okay, because otherwise they would say you can't walk on the sidewalk.
Awesome. Good to know. So Diana just let us know that both House resolutions barely failed. Unfortunately, that is disappointing. All right. Someone said it's also legal to drive an ice cream truck in circles around the block with a food permit. That's great. You could probably even find an ice cream truck to rent temporarily online somehow. And in HOA controlled neighborhoods, as far as I know, HOA policies are not laws, or they're also called covenant communities. But I would look into that further if you plan on violating any HOA ordinances.
And I would say that the law is the law, even in HOA. If you're walking up and down a sidewalk, that is legal. And the enforcement mechanism for most HOAs is to put a lien on your house. So if you don't live in the HOA, then there's really not much that they can do. It's not like they can sue you personally.
I know when I was a canvasser, we would still go into communities that had signs posted that said no solicitation. And when the officers would come speak to us, we would explain that we're not selling anything. So those are really the only signs I've seen posted anywhere. And you could say we're exercising our First Amendment rights, and obviously we're not selling anything. All right. Here are a few things you can do if you have Democratic legislators who are standing visibly against the administration. We want to lift up the Democrats who are standing strong and remind them that we've got their backs. Some ideas are a cake delivery with frosting that says, "Thanks for fighting for us." Photo ops with constituents holding a "We have your back" sign. Hold a press event thanking them for standing firm. Drop a banner that says "Courage is contagious. Thank you," and add their name. You can make these yourself with tarps and duct tape or by painting on a canvas. We can also order them for you, and they're not super expensive. So if you want to do that, also you can go ahead and email me. If you would drop my email one more time, please, Morgan.
Certainly.
And we already talked about some ideas for town halls. Here is a link to Indivisible's Town Hall Guide. But either way, whether we're holding an empty chair town hall or we're attending a town hall that the legislators are holding, we need to show up and ask smart, strategic questions. So there's some great information on that at that link. Thank you all for being here, and we'll hopefully see you next week. If not, we will see you after the holidays.